All right, so, we're doing a deep dive today into a career path that I think, has intrigued a lot of people,
Mm,
prosecutors. Um, and uh, I think, if you're listening to this deep dive, you probably already have your sights set on law.
yeah,
But we want to kind of give you a real world view, going beyond those,
right.
kind of courtroom dramas and things like that.
Absolutely.
We're using RoleCatcher for this. They've got some really interesting insights, and they're kind of like uh, career navigators in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And they had a fascinating take on what it really takes to be a prosecutor.
Yeah, it's interesting the way that RoleCatcher defines the role. They actually call it being a compelling advocate representing the people in government, which
Wow.
I think really underscores the weight of that job.
It's a huge responsibility for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's not just about winning cases, but it's really about public service, upholding justice.
Absolutely, and that's what's so fascinating. RoleCatcher doesn't just stop at legal knowledge. They highlight just how vital
Oh, yeah.
soft skills are
Yeah,
for a prosecutor.
absolutely.
For example, they say active listening is needed a whopping 79% of the time.
Wow.
79%. Then
Oh,
there's critical thinking at 73%, and even negotiation skills at 50%.
right.
And, you've been in the field,
I have.
so you know firsthand how crucial those skills are.
Absolutely.
What's your take on why they're so important, especially for a prosecutor?
Well, I think it's because, being a prosecutor is about so much more than just knowing the law.
Right.
Like you said, those soft skills are essential. Take active listening, for example. You know that's your key to unlocking the truth. It's not just about what's being said, but also what's not being said.
Right.
Reading between the lines of a witness testimony, catching those inconsistencies, really understanding the nuances of a case.
It's almost like being a detective,
Exactly.
piecing together clues.
Exactly. You have to analyze the evidence, anticipate the defense's moves, and, that requires critical thinking.
Oh, for sure.
And then you've got negotiation, which I think plays a bigger role than people realize.
Right.
I mean, think about plea bargains, for example.
Oh, great.
That's where you need those skills to strike a balance, ensuring justice is served, while also considering all sides of the story.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because it's not always about that,
Right.
dramatic courtroom showdown
Exactly.
that you see on TV.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's about finding the best resolution for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
And that's a very different approach
It is.
to the law.
Absolutely.
It does. It really does. And I
Yeah.
think, that's what makes this career path so intriguing, but also, like you said, really challenging.
Absolutely. It's a lot to balance.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And that's where I think RoleCatcher's insights into the career stages
Yeah.
I found really helpful because they kind of break down the journey, right?
Yeah.
From entry level all the way to a senior prosecutor
Right.
and show how your responsibilities and your focus kind of shift over time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And how you kind of,
Yeah.
gain that experience as you go.
Exactly. Exactly. And for instance, they mention junior prosecutors often handle lower level court cases.
Yeah, right. Just to kind of get their sea legs, so to speak.
That experience. Yeah.
And then you have the senior prosecutors who are tackling the complex, high profile,
Sure.
the cases that we read about.
Right. The ones that grab the headlines.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of those high profile cases, I'm curious, are there any from your own experience?
Sure.
And I know you can't divulge specifics
Of course. Yeah.
but just in a general sense, are there any that come to mind?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had cases that I can't like you said, I can't divulge
Wow.
details, but one in particular
Yeah.
involved I guess what you would call a large-scale fraud scheme.
And it had a really devastating impact on an entire community.
Oh, wow.
And that's one of those cases where you realize you're not just dealing with,
Right.
legal complexities, but also the human cost.
Yeah, that's what I find so compelling, I think, about,
Yeah.
this career path in particular, that it's not just about laws and procedures.
Right.
It's about people's lives.
It is, absolutely.
And I think RoleCatcher actually, they do touch on that.
Yeah.
That, a prosecutor can have a profound impact
Absolutely.
on individuals and on community.
They do. Every case, every decision
Yeah.
carries a lot of weight.
Right, right.
And it's not always clear cut.
No, and I would imagine, I would imagine it's not always so easy to see the forest for the trees.
Right. Absolutely.
When you're in the thick of it. Right.
It's not, that's where the preparation, I think, and the
Yeah.
experience that you gain throughout your career, really comes into play.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Each step, like on that career ladder you were talking about,
Yeah,
really kind of equips you
it does.
to handle those,
It does.
increasingly
Yeah,
complex situations.
absolutely.
Speaking of equipping yourself for success, I mean, RoleCatcher, they dive into an area that I think is very relevant,
Yeah,
especially for someone just starting their journey,
right.
and that's technology.
Sure.
They've got these AI-powered tools for interview prep and for job applications
Yeah.
that seem, I mean, from an outsider's perspective,
Yeah.
pretty game-changing.
Oh, for sure.
And they even have this thing called RoleCatcher.capture that analyzes job descriptions
Wow.
instantly.
Interesting.
I'm just curious from your perspective, like, is tech really changing how one becomes a lawyer? Or is that a little overblown, do you think?
I don't think it's overblown at all. I think
Yeah.
the legal field is evolving, and technology is a big driver of that change. I mean, look, the legal world has always been about information analysis and strategy, right?
Right.
Technology, especially tools like RoleCatcher,
Right.
just amplify those elements.
It's like having a superpower
It is.
in a way,
Yeah.
especially when you're up against, what I imagine is some pretty stiff competition.
Oh, absolutely.
For example, they mentioned that RoleCatcher's AI can actually pinpoint
Wow.
the exact skills that a firm is looking for and help you tailor your application.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge.
It is huge, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like having, imagine having the ability to sift through, mountains of legal precedent,
Right.
analyze case histories, even fine-tune your arguments,
Wow.
all powered by AI.
Wow.
I mean, that's the reality that's
Perfect.
facing aspiring lawyers today.
That's really incredible.
It is.
So in this new world
Yeah.
of AI and legal tech, what would your advice be to those listening who want to be prosecutors?
I'd say a few things are key. First, master the fundamentals.
Okay.
Legal expertise is non-negotiable.
Right.
But don't stop there. Develop those soft skills we talked about.
Right.
Communication, critical thinking, emotional intelligence. Second, embrace technology.
Yeah.
Tools like RoleCatcher, they can give you a real edge from, crafting a standout application to prepping for those crucial interviews. And finally, find mentors, people who can guide you, share their wisdom, help you navigate the real world complexities of the legal profession.
Yeah, no, that's incredibly valuable advice, especially that last part.
Yeah.
Having someone to learn from, someone to bounce ideas off of,
Sure.
can make all the difference. Well, this deep dive into the world of prosecutors has been absolutely fascinating. We've uncovered the skills, the challenges, even how technology is shaping the future of the field. So a huge thank you to you
Well, thank you for having me.
for sharing your insights, and of course to RoleCatcher for providing such a really comprehensive look at this very demanding,
Yeah.
but ultimately incredibly rewarding career path.
Absolutely. Thank you.